What is up, my friends? So this is probably going to be the last video I do on my blog for a little bit until we get some more announcements and all of that. But this was the video I said I was going to do after my season 4 theories, where I pretty much am just going to devote it to the man of the hour, the man we don't know, the man of mystery, Lil Ricky. So we don't know who Ricardo is, Lil Ricky. The end of season 3 pretty much was a big, I feel like we were so close to finding out who he was, and I think this is why some people might have been mad about the season ending the way it did, because we thought we were finally going to get the reveal of where he is and who he is. But I think the ending really left me wondering, will it ever matter who he really is now, especially that Cuchillos is gone? Like, what does it matter finding Lil Ricky at this point? But I guess season 4 will prove something like we don't know yet, just as we uncover new and stuff as we go on with the seasons. Right before we get into it, I have a huge favor. If you could share my on my blog season 3 ending explained video, I would highly appreciate that. It's about to become my most viewed video on my channel, and it'd be awesome if we can get that to 500,000 views. I mean, that would be insane. I've never had a video go that crazy, and I would totally dig that. So please go share that video or any of my other videos, and thanks a lot. But my theories will be two, as always. There's one theory in particular I want to talk about first, which I just don't think is going to be the way that people are thinking is going to happen, and that's that people are saying online that they think Ray, Spooky, and Caesar's dad is actually Lil Ricky. And the reason for that is because I myself was misled by the show and its trailers. When they would talk about Lil Ricky, they would show Ray. If you look at the wanted poster, the pictures of Ray, they all pretty much look like the ones for Lil Ricky as well. So it's interesting that they would do this, but that goes into my theory on who he really is, that they are closely associating it with Ray and dropping hints in there when he's ever around. Now, the big question is if Lil Ricky is alive was answered in season 3 by Cuchillos, and then Spooky and Jamal going to the graveyard to dig him up, and they were able to pretty much come to the conclusion that yeah, he's out there and we need to find him. But they needed to find him for Cuchillos to avoid Cuchillos pretty much killing them. So they are no longer having to deal with this. It's been 2 years now, so my question will be, why would Lil Ricky need to show up? And I think that the biggest answer in that is in order to get Caesar out of the gang. As we saw at the end of season 3, he is in this gang now, and he needs to come out because we know what's going to happen if he stays in there long. And I think the only way that they'll come up with that Caesar will listen is if somebody who started the gang talks him out of it. And as you know, Lil Ricky, according to Chivo, was pretty much against the gang life by the end of it. After what it turned into, he was not there for that at all, and was one of the reasons he went into seclusion. So we can pretty much say that Lil Ricky is sort of like the Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, in this situation, where he pretty much didn't like the way the order and everything was going, and now he's trying to pretty much get away from it all and be secluded. Now, first theory on who he is, it's the guy in Bakersfield that Ray talks about. And the reason I think this is because if you watch the season again, you will definitely see that Ray talks about this guy and saying he gives second chances to people like him. And I think that would be who Lil Ricky would be at this point in his life, after everything that's happened and everything he's seen and how things have evolved. He wants people that want to come out of this life to do better for themselves and to become something greater. And I think that that is the reason this guy is definitely Lil Ricky. We even see Ray go to Bakersfield, so I think that we're definitely going to be getting Lil Ricky next season. Everything that's going to happen with Caesar, that Ray is going to hear about it, and he's going to come back and know that the only way that he can save Caesar is if he brings Lil Ricky with him. I think the whole Lil Ricky thing will come full circle, as he will be the one that will actually help Caesar come out of this and pretty much end everything there, and hopefully a happy ending. So that's my thoughts on how that could be Lil Ricky. The other theory is the most popular theory I see, and one that I've always had ever since this character got introduced, and that's that Chibo himself is Lil Ricky, and maybe he just is pretty much putting on this whole fake persona in order to divert anything of suspicion towards him, and he's just trying to live his life, I guess. So I think that either those two theories could be true, but I'm leaning more towards that little Ricky is the guy in Bakersfield that's helping Ray out. And I think that season 4, as I already said, is going to be centered around getting Caesar out of the gang and having him live a better life, because I think that shit's going to hit the fan in season 4 with the Prophets coming out of jail and probably trying to get retaliation on Los Santos. I keep saying Los Santos in every video, and I'm always like GTA, man, GTA. But yeah, I think the Prophets are going to be coming out of jail. They're going to try and go after Caesar and the Santos, and I think Spooky and the friends are going to try and get him out of it, but I don't think he's going to be listening, especially after years of being isolated from everybody, as it looks like they have been, and just being with the gang, being absorbed by it. I don't think he's in the right mental state anymore. So we could definitely see that happening, where everybody's trying to get him out, and they see like nothing's budging, so they have to call in his father and then little Ricky ultimately to tell him like, hey, I've been here, I've been doing this, and I figured out that you need to get out because you need to live your future, and this is not the way to a good future. So I think that's definitely how it's going to pan out. I don't think Chivo is little Ricky anymore. I did used to think that theory a lot was true, but after really going back into it and hearing about this new guy in Bakersfield and him being mentioned and Ray being closely associated with being little Ricky, I think it's just little hints that the writers are dropping for us, and we are just going to have to wait and see what's going to happen come season 4, which to this moment has not been announced. But I wouldn't give up hope, because usually we wouldn't get an announcement of a new season for On My Block until almost a month after. So come April, for sure May, we should definitely find out the release date, and hopefully we get a little tease or something here and there. But I just don't think we might, because we didn't get a trailer for the new season until like a month or 2 months before it premiered. But anyways, I'm excited to see what happens. This series is definitely one of my favorite ones to watch, the comedy and everything. And by the way, have you seen that they've collaborated with Rosa on TikTok? I would definitely go check that out if you haven't already. But I am thinking of doing a watch along to the final episode sometime this month, before the end of the month for sure, where we're just gonna watch the final episode together, and maybe I'll live stream it on YouTube or live tweet it on Twitter. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I want to do some more watch along type things, because I see them on social media, everybody's doing it. It looks pretty fun just to watch something with a group of people and just like live tweet it or give it on the chat and all that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, watching the final episode of On My Block season 3, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and set that up hopefully for next week. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about that, and also make sure you're following me on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Anchor. All the links will be provided below. So yeah, the biggest question is Lil Ricky the guy in Bakersfield, or who is he? Like, that's the big question. And do you think that it even matters at this point to know who Lil Ricky is, or for him to be even introduced in the show? Because I sort of think that if he was going to be ever introduced, it would have been in the last season, and that would have made it like a big reveal of sorts. But now I feel like that big momentum for that big reveal is sort of gone. So the next time they bring him up, they have to create something huge, momentous, in order to get his reveal, because he's been pretty much built up since season 1, and I feel like if you just lay him out there and be like, yeah, this is Lil Ricky, here you go, the reveal won't come as strong. And imagine if it's somebody who's been under our noses this whole time. That would be pretty crazy. But another theory is that Monse's dad will also be having some problems with the Prophets, and they're tying that to her mom's death and all this. But I won't get into that until another video later on as we get closer to season 4, if that is the case. But let me know your thoughts on that below as well. But I also like to know, what are you watching while you're under quarantine? I know I already asked on the community tab. Go check that out if you haven't already as well. But I am curious to know what everybody is watching, because I know some people might not see the community tab. I've been keeping busy watching some Netflix stuff, Amazon Prime. We got Midsommar on Amazon Prime. I just watched The Platform, which I did a video on as well. And I've been playing some video games, keeping myself busy, listening to music, and I'm trying to learn some new skills as well, which I definitely recommend all of you do, because if you have the time, it's always good to further yourself and progress. But I'll also be doing a video on Ozark season 3 once it comes out on Friday. So if you're a fan of that show, if you've never heard of it, definitely go check that show out if you want. But I'll be doing a ending explained on season 3 once it's out, because I mean, that's what we do in this channel. We talk about movies, we talk about TV shows, we talk about music, anime, and we try to dissect as much as we can out of all of it and just pretty much create a community here. So on the road to 15,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Get onto that right now, because we're so close. And as always, stay positive.